Hello, and welcome back to the studio. I'm Dr. Wiggo, and today we're going to look at macOS 26 Tahoe. Last week we looked at iPadOS 26, and so this week we're looking at macOS 26, and they're converging. They're not the same, and they're never going to be the same, although they're going to get more and more alike for reasons I'll talk about at the end of the video when I talk about my overall impressions and everything about all of these 26 operating systems. macOS 26 Tahoe does not support as many devices as iPadOS 26 did. It went back to like 2019 with some of these things. Although technically this one does too, but let me explain. Basically, if your Mac runs Mac Silicon, M1 all through M4, M5 down the road, it'll run Tahoe. The MacBook Airs since 2020, the MacBook Pros since 2020, the iMac since 2020, the Mac Mini since 2020, Mac Studio after 2022, the Mac Pro 2019. But if you have an Intel Mac, you're pretty much out of luck, but not completely out of luck because it does support the Mac Pro 16 from 2019 and the MacBook Pro 13 from 2020. But for the most part, if you have an Intel Mac, this one is not for you. So like iPadOS 26, the main part of this update for most people is going to be the visual update to Liquid Glass. Now, Liquid Glass has been improved over the last 4 developer betas, so that now in the public beta, if you want this public beta, I'll have the link down below where you can go sign up and then you can download it and set your Mac to download it. Well, here, let me show you how you set your Mac to download it. You go to System Settings. By the way, in the background, did you see the widgets go glass-like when there's an app open? But you come down here to General, you come down here to Software Update, and here under Beta Updates, once you've signed up, you can tell it what ones you want. So you take the macOS 26, and then when I close this, see the widgets get their color back. Liquid Glass, isn't it amazing? The first thing you'll notice in Liquid Glass is the menu bar is now transparent, and when the menus drop down, they are the kind of frosted glass. And at the other end, the control panel looks a lot more like the iPad control panel or the iPhone control panel. Everything's rounded. You can edit controls. There's a whole list of things you can add here. You can have multiple pages, but on the Mac, in addition to putting things, so keyboard brightness, if you click on the little thing, you can add it to the control center, or you can add it to the menu bar. We'll add this to control center, and now I control my keyboard brightness over here. And I can make this large or small. Of course, then it really doesn't do anything. Oh, then when you click on it, it pops up here, and you control your keyboard brightness. Oh, look, there's a thing for keyboard settings. It looks lovely to me. Now, Liquid Glass is one of those things, either you love it, or you hate it, or you just think it's okay. I kind of love it. I like the transparent menu bar. If you look down here, the dock has also got the clear background. Oh, they've changed the trash icon. And look, there's something in the trash. So if I click on that, I can empty the trash. Yes, I do. And see, now the trash is empty, but it's a different trash can icon. And also, for reasons unknown, they've reversed the colors on the Finder icon. It used to be the left was light and the right was blue, but now the left is blue and the right is white. I don't know. Another major interface change they've made with the Liquid Glass, although this may be more about Spotlight, instead of Launchpad, you now open the Apps section of Spotlight Search when you click down here on this little icon, which used to be Launchpad. Now it's all your apps, and up here you notice you can sort them by productivity and finance, entertainment, utilities. You get the idea. The Liquid Glass is just about how things are displayed. I think it's nice. Now you can In System Settings, Appearance, you can have light and dark mode, auto mode. I have it in auto right now. If I put it in light, it'll stay the same because it's still daylight. But if we put it in a dark mode, see, everything gets darker. But you can put your widgets and your icons into dark mode, or clear mode, which is what they kind of bragged about. We can have clear icons. I saw someone say they don't like the clear icons on the iPad, but they do like it on macOS, and I kind of have to agree. On the iPad, you kind of need to see the colors of the icons to know what you're clicking, whereas here, there's so many other ways to launch things and define things. Oh, and you do have that tinted thing, like that came over from iPad, so you can change the color. Let's go back to the default. While we were talking about menus, all the menus now, well, all the Apple menus anyway, now have little icons next to the things on the menu to give you an idea what they're for, and that's across everything. But those are the main visual differences, and it's really just a visual difference. And of course, you have the cool wallpapers. You have your dynamic wallpapers. You can do photos. You can't do the kind of 3D looking photos that the iPhone will do and the iPad will do. Or if you can, I haven't found that yet. You can change the appearance of the clock on the lock screen, or turn the clock off on the lock screen, or on the screensaver on the lock screen, or none at all. And you can change the weight of the font and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, this is all just visual. That's not what's important. I think the biggest and best change in this is Spotlight. So you command spacebar and you get Spotlight search. And this is my first time doing it. So it tells me I can do Command 1 for applications, Command 2 for actions, Command 3 for files, Command 4 for the clipboard history. So if I do the Command 1, that's the same thing I just showed you with this. What used to be Launchpad is now just launches you straight into this. And if I do Command 2, that's get me into files mode. And again, look, you can pick, there's all my numbers files, my pages files. You get the idea. But the big change is actions. Now the Mac will do almost all the kind of shortcut things that you could do on the iPhone. Again, this is that convergence. You can set automations. You can do all the same kind of things with shortcuts you do on the Mac. So I click on Send Message. Now over here it says Add Quick Keys. So you type in like SM. And now under Actions, if I type SM, it's Send a Message. So here's my message. Hey. So you start typing, and then there's, well, let's send this to old Rich. Just in case you're wondering why these videos seem so haphazard, that's because that's my script. So right now I'm on Spotlight. So you can see where the video is going to go. I don't write scripts. I just give myself some talking points and get started. Which, by the way, I have over here on my iPad. I know I'm in the middle of something, but just let me tell you right now, one of the big problems with this convergence where they're all starting to look and act the same is I can't tell you how many times I touch the screen on my MacBook Pro and nothing happens. I want touchscreen over here, but that's in the future. Where were we? Oh yeah, we were on actions. Okay. But in addition, this is how you can set timers. And again, you can do them right here with your keyboard. Type in, go do start a timer. Hit return to run it. 4 minutes. Hit return and look up here in the menu bar. There's my little timer running. Cancel that out. Now the clipboard history. Let me enable that. Well, right now there's nothing in it, but let's go back over to Notes. Copy that. Copy that. Well, as you can see, it is beta, but I have seen people demonstrate it, so eventually it will have your clipboard history so you can have multiple things that you've copied and pasted. I want to get that third one back that I copied and pasted. Well, you'll be able to do that. Apparently I can't do it yet, but the applications, the files, the actions, and again, the actions, you can have automations, they can launch shortcuts, and you can set automations by time of day or when things happen. I'm really unhappy about the clipboard not working, but again, I just installed this. I installed it on my Mac Mini and was fooling around with it there, and then I realized I hate shooting down there. I would rather shoot up here, so I said, I'll use the MacBook Pro. Except I hadn't set all this stuff up on the MacBook Pro, so you're getting to see it happen live. Now they've revised some apps. The Photos app has the same improvements. We have the automatically go into library mode, or photo roll as you still call it. And you still have the collections and your shared albums. And you can now, if you go to your albums, y'all are all seeing that little blue line up here, but when I let go, nothing happens. Let's try pin. There we go. So I can pin it over here. The drag should work, but beta software. So you can pin your albums over here so you can find them easily. You know, find all your videos. We got some utilities down here. Look for all your duplicates. Look for your recently viewed. So the Photos app is much improved. To me, the biggest improvement is just getting the library back. I missed my camera roll, and now I've got the equivalent. They've also made improvements to the Notes app. Well, like in the menus, you have all the little icons, all that kind of stuff. And there's things you can do. Well, I covered that in the iPad video last week. Oh, and Messages they've added polls, they've added backgrounds, screening tools. You can use Add Contact in the middle of group chats. Now, new to the Mac is Journal. Just like we talked about last week, they added Journal to the iPad. It was originally an iPhone-only app. Well, now you can share your journals across. So you can journal on your Mac, you can journal on your iPad, you can journal on your phone, and it all can go to the same place, or you can have separate journals. You can create anything you want. So journaling is a great thing. And of course, they've also added the Games app, which apparently loads very slowly, or not at all. I showed you that last week on the iPad. It's the same app, and it collects all your stuff. Like with the iPad 26, we've got the Phone app, which uses your phone. It's not going to call with the Mac, but it'll use the Mac's microphone and camera if you're using FaceTime, and it'll route through your phone, and so you can call people and right on your Mac. And you get the call screening and the hold assist that I talked about last week on the iPad that's also coming to iPhone OS 26, which is also coming to iOS 26. And the live activities on your phone will show up here so you can see what's going on. Again, I just like it. The control panel is great. And again, as you can see here on the screen, they fixed it so that it's not quite as transparent. It's not as clear, but it does pick up the background. So we have the dark blue over here and the lighter blue-green up here. And you can have your widgets over here. I've got all my charging things. Got my calendar. Got the clock. Got my weather. It's a good OS. I think it's a great update. I like the liquid glass. Again, you may love it, you may hate it, you may just think it's okay, but I love it. And by the way, if you don't like it, you can turn a lot of it off, especially in accessibility. If you can't figure out a way to turn things off, but you can like make the menu bar have a background, and you can do all that kind of stuff in accessibility. You can make the transparency much less using accessibility. So people with vision issues, if you can't read this, well, there's ways in accessibility to make it all much more readable, make text bigger. So there's all sorts of vision. You can have it speak things. You can read and speak. Again, that live translation and stuff is in Messages. It's on the phone app. It's in QuickTime. And live captions. You can live caption almost anything. And you can set the font size to be big. 32 is a nice size. And you can have in-app live captions in FaceTime. You can invert colors. You can increase contrast, reduce transparency. This is the thing that will make, like, the control center. See, it's much, much less transparent. In fact, it's kind of transparent, but much less transparent. So what do I think overall? I'm a fan. I like it a lot. I think it's great. But I really like the convergence. The fact that, like, the journal app is across all the platforms now. So you can journal on your iPad, you can journal on your phone. The Games app across all the platforms. The fact that the operating systems on their three main platforms are converging, and by the way, tvOS 26 and watchOS 26, they're all converging, which means that once you've learned one of them, you're most of the way to knowing all of them. So when you switch from a phone to a Mac, it's just seamless for you. And that the continuity and all the other stuff they've been adding over the years. They've made this walled garden, this ecosystem that everybody complains about, but it's what makes it so wonderful. What makes it so easy to use. It's why I'm so glad I got to get rid of my Windows machine, because it wasn't playing with all this stuff. I didn't get to play with everything. So that's my take on macOS 26 Tahoe. I think it's great. There'll be a link down below to take you to where you can sign up. And once you've signed up with your Apple ID, then you can go to your machine. I do not recommend you put this on your only Mac. I have multiple Macs. So the fact that this one might crash, it doesn't really bother me because my Mac Studio is my main Mac. I would not install a beta software on there. So what's next? Vision OS 26, of course. But that's not going to be next week. That's going to be a couple of weeks because I haven't even downloaded that yet because I've been playing with this and iPadOS before this. So I will get to that. Next week's probably going to be about smoke detectors. It's a long story. I'll explain it all next week. But basically it involves how Nest sucks since Google bought them, and I will explain that all next week. And then hopefully the week after next will be Vision OS 26. I started to make a Vision Pro video right before all this started, and then I been inundated with software and everything, but I'm going to get back to that. So look forward to that in 2 weeks. So subscribe, and you can skip next week's if you don't care about smoke detectors, but you should care about smoke detectors, and I'll explain why next week. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Bye-bye. And now I got to go start working on the Vision OS 26 video for 2 weeks from now. Thanks for staying to the end. Bye-bye.